broadly this hydroponic setup is being classified. So first we see the solution culture or liquid culture or liquid hydroponics. So what is this liquid culture means? Here in this liquid type of hydroponics, what we are doing, we are water nutrient solution is always flowing through the system. Means water nutrient solution will be recirculated in the system, and nutrient solution will be circulating around the plant root system, and the water, whatever water we are using in that setup, it will be totally recirculated. We are not wasting even a single drop of water. Whatever the plant wants, it will take the absorb the water, and rest will go back to the reservoir and it will stay there. Only we have to replenish that water with by adding more of nutrients. So that is how. So there is a totally closed system wherein we are not wasting a drop of water, a drop of nutrient. Okay. So first classification of this type of liquid culture or liquid hydroponics is first is the NFT system. It is that NFT short form. It in expansion is nutrient film technique. Okay. So what in the picture itself you can see that nutrient film technique, how it looks like. Here you can see the 5 different type of rectangular type of channels you are seeing. So this one. Okay. So these are called the NFT channels, that 5 rectangular channels which you are seeing. And down you can see one reservoir, one black container is there, no? That is known as a reservoir. That reservoir inside it will be having a submersible pump. Okay. That submersible pump will be there inside the reservoir. And that pump is responsible for circulating or transport of nutrients which we have put in the reservoir towards the NFT channel. Okay, that top rectangular channels, no? So that is how. And there will be an inlet, and there will be provision of outlet also from that system. So whatever the plant is not used, it will come back to the reservoir and it will stay there. Okay, so that is a basic principle. And here NFT, the name itself suggests it is a nutrient film technique. So here in the first picture, you can see in the left hand side, that picture you are seeing a small thin film of nutrients flowing down the container, right? So that is why it is called a film technique. Only a thin film of nutrient solution will be always there inside that nutrient film channel. Okay, so that is why it is called as a nutrient film technique. And here you can see which are all the whenever we want to go for a setup of a NFT, what are all the basic materials which we require for setting up an NFT? First, we need a container or a reservoir tank. Okay, that blue color container, whatever we are giving, you can, depending on the area, how much you want to expand. It can be a 50-liter container, it can be a 200-liter container, it can be a 70-liter container also, depending on how many plants you want to raise. Okay, then comes a submersible pump. Okay, then we need a tubes for transporting the nutrient solution from water pump up to the channel system. Then we need a growing media. Growing media means mostly in our IHR, we are mostly using the Jiffy plug. Jiffy plug is nothing but it is known as that photograph in the middle left hand side you can see, that is known as a Jiffy plug. So what is the benefit of this Jiffy plug is that the small plug type of thing, which is a highly compressed coco peat, it can take care of the entire crop growth cycle. See, one just it will cost, no, it will not cost you more than 1 rupee, 1 or 1.5 maximum. Okay. So with that 1 rupee highly compressed coco peat, you can go for one full crop. Okay, so that is a benefit. And we'll show you during the practical how to use that and all. And then we need the seeds for setting up the for our planting as a planting material. Then we need this net pot. Net pot, why we need? Because that from the net pot, it's a porous type of thing. Through that net pot, the roots of that plant should come and touch to the nutrient solution. So that is how. And then growing channels or NFT channel, and we need a stand. If we are aiming at a vertical type of hydroponics and all, we need a stand also. So these are the basic materials which we require for setting up of a NFT. Then some theory part also I have put in here because we should know little of how to go about it, no? So that length of an NFT channel. Channel means a rectangular thing. Usually the length, it can vary from it can be a 5-meter channel, it can be a 3-meter channel, it can be a 10-meter channel, depending on the area, how much you have in your terrace or in your wherever. Okay. So on the top of NFT sheets, we have different holes will be already ready-made, custom-made holes will be there. Maybe at a spacing of around 9-inch spacing, it will be there. It varies in the NFT channel. Then in that hole, we will be putting one net pot. I have shown you the previous picture. Net pot will be inserting to that hole, and to that net pot will be inserting the Jiffy plug. Jiffy plug. Jiffy plug, what is the specialty is that we have to dip that Jiffy plug in water. In less than a minute, it will expand to this size. Okay. So in that Jiffy plug, we will put the seed, and then seeds will germinate on its own, and it will take care of the entire rest. All the materials we are providing through the reservoir and all, that will be taken care. So that is how this NFT works. And one advantage of one problem with this NFT is that mostly I told you only a thin film of nutrient solution will be flowing through the channel. So only the bottom roots will be touching the media, and rest top roots they'll be floating inside that channel. Okay. So if power problem and all is not there, there are chances that plants may dry up, because most of the roots they are on the top and they'll get dehydrated, and chances of, so in NFT there is the requirement of a continuous power supply. But now we have come out some solution for that also. We'll show you during that practical. But this is one of the disadvantage of this NFT system, because most of the roots they are floating in there, and only the down portion is being touched by the solution. And another problem what we have observed in NFT is that this in NFT system, the roots of that plant, whatever we are growing, no, it will be spreading like a mat inside the system. So totally in that inside that rectangular channel, it will be a full of mat of roots. So once it plants as and when grows, so better older roots and all we can remove also. Otherwise, full clogging, leaking, all those problems will happen. Okay. So for that also we have come out with some alternative techniques, how to go about it, how to come out of that problems. That also will be covering in the future slides. Okay. So these are the three different styles of NFT we have. One is a flat style, second is an A style, and third is an H style. So flat style mean people who have enough area with them, they can go for a flat type of hydroponics NFT system. And A style, whenever a person, he or she doesn't have more space in his area, he can go for an A style. So the double the plan we can accommodate in an A style type of lighting, all this grow light. For our Indian conditions, we have other solutions. So why we have to go for such high tech and all? We can skip that. Okay. But if you are all more more rich and all, you can go for such systems also. Okay. So here in this, I have given just a simple model of this hydroponic setup. You can see it's an A-type NFT system, wherein just a 3-meter long channel. You can see just in hardly in an area of just 5 feet, we can accommodate around 150 plants. So each channel that is around 3-meter long. So in a 3-meter long NFT channel, you can accommodate around 15 plants. So like that, we have 5 channels on one side and another 5 channels on the opposite. Exotic crops like cruciferous crops like red cabbage, cauliflowers, broccoli, and sky is the limit. Any crops can be tried, but we have to see the economic means how it is sustainable. All those things we have to see, and any medicinal. So normally, whichever herbs we are using for our common daily use, like tulsi, it can be brahmi, it can be centella, different types of mint. All those medicinal herbs can be cultivated, and even some of the vegetable crops. Right now, we have put some leafy vegetable crops like lettuce and all in our hydroponic setup. Earlier, we have tried with chilies, capsicums, tomatoes, and different gourds. All those things we can be grown in an NFT setup. So these are the different photographs of whatever of the crops we have taken earlier, even some flower crops if somebody is interested, and some of the call crops like cabbage. And you can see how the root growth is happening in an NFT system. See, extensive root growth will happen, and finally it will lead to clogging also because of the spreading of the roots inside the system. So we have come out with solution for such problems also by adopting some other techniques. Okay, so different medicinal herbs like rosemary, brahmi, kalmek, burma mint, everything can be raised through a hydroponic setup. Here you can see the ridge gourds and zucchinis, this one, bitter gourds and all, which we have raised in our earlier NFT setups. So these are all just to show you how, which are all the crops we can take up. Even capsicums, beans, chilies. Okay, and even flower crops like gerbera also we have tried, but we were not that successful in taking up this gerbera in such type of setup, because gerbera doesn't like that much continuous supply of water in this setups. So for we have modified slightly this type of setup for growing gerbera in a NFT, a hybrid system we have come out with that I will show you. Then this is the current status of our hydroponic setup in our center of excellence there, wherein we have raised a lettuce crop. Okay. So coming to the next setup, that is a DFT technique. So the difference between an NFT and an DFT, NFT I was telling you, it was it was a rectangular channel. But here in a DFT, it is a cylindrical channel. Here you can see the shape of the channels. It is totally cylindrical. So because of that cylindrical shape of the channel, what is happening in NFT, there was only a thin film of nutrient solution. But here, since it is cylindrical, the depth of the nutrient solution will be more. Around 2 to 3 centimeter height of the nutrient solution will be there inside the channel. So that is the only difference between NFT and DFT. And most of the roots will be inside and inserted inside this deep flow. And because of that, even if power fluctuation or power problem is there, plants will not die immediately. Okay. It can sustain in that system because the plants will be always inserted or deeply inserted to that deep flow container. Okay. So here also we can go for different style. As I've shown in an NFT, we can go for either a horizontal type of DFT, or you can go for an A type of DFT, or even a zigzag pattern. A lot of models are available in market nowadays. So whichever models you prefer, you can go for such type of models for a DFT. So these are again some of the crops which we have raised earlier, like different types of flower crops also we have tried, and lettuce, spinach. Then here you can see the cabbages we have raised, different cauliflowers. Okay. And these are the different crops we have raised through DFT technique. So the only difference between NFT and DFT, one is a thin film and other is a more nutrient solution will be there inside the channel. So that is the only difference. And coming to the third, this thing, that is a aeroponics. So what is aeroponics means here in DFT and NFT, we were using the liquid solution were being used, but here we are using just sprinkling of the nutrient solution is being done inside the, say, such type of boxes will be there. We have to create a fully dark condition for the growth of the roots. So that we have to set up a box type of this thing. And on the top of box, we will be placing styrofoam panels. And in that styrofoam panels, holes will be drilled. And to that drilled holes, we have to insert net pots. Inside that net pot, we'll be putting some little clay balls, Lika clay. And then we'll be, in the jiffy, we'll be placing the plant. And the roots of the plant will be, here you can see in the second picture, roots will be growing, the nutrients will be always sprayed to the roots by using a motor. And it is more than water and nutrient saving technology than hydroponics. And fast growth rate is observed in a hydroponic. But this is a first photograph, whatever I've seen, it is a high cost affair. So many of us may not be interested to go for such expensive type of cultivation. So for that also, we are now trying with some low-cost techniques, which is shown in the down photograph. Okay, that and all we'll be showing you during the practicals. Okay, then the fourth system is a wick system. So in wick system means mainly many of us will not be more comfortable with daily watering and all. And if we are going for a vacation or something, we may not be able to water our plants. So this wick system is a solution for all those problems. It is a self-watering type of thing. So how we have to go about a wick system is, first we need I'll come to the photographs. Yeah. See, this is one of the vertical wick system, which Ashut sir was telling in the introduction. We have an I-frame. This works on a wicking principle. Wicking means it is based on the capillary action. So we all know we all use the diya in our houses for lighting of lamps and all this. That is the same thing, same process. It will be absorbing the water from the down. Means this water molecules, they always love to stay together. And once they stay together, it's an upward pull happening. And that through the capillary action, the water will be slowly moving from the down to the top. So that is how the principle works. So here, how this system is working means here you can see one reservoir. In this reservoir, we'll be filling the water nutrients, and this reservoir is being connected with an, here you can see this inlet. Okay, through this inlet, see some 5 layers are this on this system on the front side, and another 5 layers is there on the back side also. So in each of the 5 layers here you can see piche means back side, you can see pipes running. So all these pipes are interconnected with each other, and these pipes are drilled with holes actually, and that hole is being connected through this to the spot through a wick. Okay, that wick will absorb the water present in that pipe, and it will be moving upward to that media which we have provided in the pot, and that will take care of the entire crop growth cycle. So that is how it will work. We are not watering anything from the top. Fully, it is a self-watering type of system. Okay, and if we have such type of a setup in a terrace and all, we can get a fresh hygienic produce for our daily purpose, or if we have some marketing, that also we can do. Okay, so that is how the system works. And then comes a horizontal wick pot technique. Here in horizontal wick pot technique, the same principle is being adopted, wherein if we want to grow some, that is for leafy vegetables. That earlier picture what I have shown, no, that was for leafy vegetable, but this is for highly spreading vegetables like chilies, tomatoes, or brinjals, or anything you can, any gourds you can grow for by using this horizontal wick system. Here also the principle is same. Here down we are having a wick pipe for absorbing the water and nutrients, and will be transported to the container. Okay. See, these are the different photographs and all. So this is how we set up. This demo will be giving the demo of how to set up this wick system and all during our practical time. Okay. So I was telling, no, we were not so successful in the directly putting gerberas to the this thing NFT channel. So for that we have come out with this type of technique wherein this is a wick. I was telling, no, that black color thing that is called, that's a nylon and a mixture of nylon and polythene. Yeah, nylon and polythene. So that's the material which we use, and it is we have experimented with different wicking materials also. First we have tried with a jute. Jute also, it has got excellent wicking property, but the problem with jute fiber is that it will degrade very fast. But this wick, what we are using, no, it will not degrade so fast. It stays for a long time, for 2 to 3 years. It can, means for the one crop cycle, it can very well go for. So that is how we have come up with this wick. And this wick will be directly put into this system. Okay. So instead of the roots going directly, only the wick will go to the system, and the wick will absorb the water nutrient, and it will be transported to the media which is provided to this container. So perfectly we can grow any type of, not only gerbera, any vegetable, any crop can be grown by adopting such type of a technique. Okay, so that's how we can overcome the disadvantage of an NFT system. Okay, again, if somebody is not don't want to invest on all these NFT channels and all, there also we have come out with solution wherein directly on the ground itself we can insert, I mean, we can lay down the pipes. Here down you can see here, now we'll be going to the block 7. That time we can show you how we have inserted the pipe and all, and we can place a grow bag or pot, whatever, and directly we can go for such type of techniques. And if somebody don't want any investment on pots or grow bag, there also solutions are there. Directly go for laying of pipes in the bed itself, then insert the pipes and plant your plant of interest and go about. So that is how this wicking system works. So here we have grown different gerberas, even all falls. Even we have compared with the drip and wick also. The drip was, I mean, a wick was giving more yield compared to the drip, and even water saving, everything was to the higher side when compared to the drip. And drip, one problem is that I'm not telling drip is not a good technology. Drip is a very good technology only. But when we have observed, whenever the drip, wherever that water goes, whatever, there will be a hole, means some sort of depression will be happening wherever the drip water falls, right? But in so, and the porosity of the soil will be affected by using such type of things. So whereas in wick system, such problem is not happening, because the water movement is very slow and there won't be any depression created in that soil, and fully the water holding capacities will be to the in a very good manner, it will be maintained. Okay, porosity of the media will be maintained in a proper manner. Here you can see that first picture is this thing, wick system, and second one is a drip system. These are the different photographs. Even gerberas we have tried, and this media and all that on Dr. Shilpa, soil scientist, will be covering. I'm just skipping that one. Yeah, coming to the So whenever we are going for a hydroponic setup, so two main instruments should be handy with us. One is a pH meter and second is a EC meter. Either you can have an EC meter or a TDS meter. So these two instruments are compulsory for a hydroponic setup. Okay, without that we cannot, and it's not that costly also. Different models are available. Even from online also you can purchase. Otherwise, if you want some good brands, you can go for Hanna brands and all, which will last for long time. Okay, so these two instruments are compulsory whenever we are going for a hydroponic setup. Digitally, it will give you the reading. Okay, so in a hydroponic setup, since we should not go for a water which is rich in high chloride content and all. So first of all, whenever we are going for a hydroponic setup, see that the TDS means the total dissolved solids in the water should be always below 600 ppm. Then only we can, because we will be adding more and more salts to the system, right? So first, even first our water itself is rich in salts, means it will not cater to the needs of your plant growth. Okay, so we should see that the water quality is very good in a hydroponic setup. If you have the provision for RO, it can be done. It is a costly setup. Otherwise, if you have a provision for harvesting of your rainwater, which is considered as a pure water, with a TDS, with an acceptable TDS of less than 600 ppm. Mostly the rainwater TDS will be around 350 to 400 ppm. So yeah. So that TDS, that water is very acceptable for setting up of a hydroponic system. You can make some provision for storage of the rainwater, and that entirely in our systems, in our hydroponic, we were entirely dependent on rainwater. Okay, so that is a good water for a hydroponic setup. Next come the nutrient solution. Nowadays, a lot of commercial formulations are also available in market, like A and B solution you will get. And if somebody is more keen to prepare the A and B solution, there also we have solution. I can teach you how it can be made with different water soluble fertilizers. And the pH we have to maintain in a hydroponic setup is around 5.5 to 6.5, and EC should be around. It is not depending on the crop stage, we have to change the EC and all that. I'll come to you. So whenever we are going for a NFT or DFT or aeroponic, whatever it is, first we should have a tank A and tank B. That means a solution A and solution B we should make first. So that solution, why, then the question will be coming in your mind, why we need to go for a 2 tanks? Okay, why solution? Why we can't go for a 1 solution only? Because the some of the nutrients which is present in the A solution, they will not be compatible with the B solution chemicals. Some solubility issues will be there, compatibility issues will be there. Okay, that is why we have to go for an A solution separately and B solution separately. So in A solution, we will be mostly concentrating on fertilizers which are rich in calcium and magnesium. Calcium and magnesium related fertilizers will be present in the A tank. Okay, and in the B tank, there will be mostly phosphorus and sulfur related fertilizers. So these are all the major nutrients which the plants require, like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. These are the major nutrients, and calcium, magnesium, sulfur. These are the secondary major nutrients which the plants require for the growth, and some micronutrients also, trace elements that are also plants require in a very less quantity only, but that is required. So that is how we, depending on, I have given the figure for 1,000 liter. We don't want 1,000 liter. We can, accordingly, we can reduce the concentration. Like we can go for a 5 liter of solution of tank A and tank B. Okay. So this tank A, tank B, which we prepare, it will be highly concentrated solution. So that we call as a stock solution. Highly concentrated stock solution will be preparing. So, okay, from the tank A, we will be taking less, so maybe some 10 ml for a per liter of water. We will be taking just 10 ml of the tank A solution only. Imagine, whereas in a soil cultivation, we will be dumping the fertilizers. Here you see, for a 1 liter water, just 10 ml is sufficient. So 10 ml of tank A solution will be taking, and 10 ml of tank B solution will be taken, and will be adding to the our reservoir. Okay. So after adding the 10 ml of A and 10 ml of B to the reservoir, what we have to do next step is checking the EC of the solution. Okay. So this is, I told you, EC meter is a compulsory instrument we should have in hand whenever we are going on EC setup. Then we have to check the digital readings it will give you. Okay. So the ideal EC range here I have given you. The EC range, for depending on this crop growth stage, EC range will vary. For a small seedling, you should not go for an EC with around 2 millisiemens per centimeter. The initial seedling stage and all, the EC will be, EC we should maintain at a very low range, around 0.7 to 0.9. If you don't have an EC meter, go for a TDS meter. That also values I have given in the downside. Like a TDS meter, for a seedling stage, it should be around 490 to 630 ppm. Okay. As and when the crop grows, more and more leaves and all, when it start coming, we should go for a higher TDS around 630 to 980 ppm. It can be 1000 ppm also. So during the flowering or
You may ask here, TDS 630 to 980, madam is telling you keep it. But your borewell will also already have 980 ppm, 1200 ppm. So that is not good. This ppm, what madam is telling is, you have to make your own TDS by adding different salts. Good salts like NPK, calcium, magnesium, manganese, all these salts when we add, this ppm should come. But your borewell water will have 980 to 1000 ppm, but they will have more of chlorides, more of carbonates, which are harmful to the plants. So this is where actually, so that is why we tell that always take a RO water which has got 25 ppm TDS. 25 to 50 ppm you can keep in your RO water. Otherwise, rainwater also very less it will be there. So if you have, say, suppose rainwater 100 ppm will be there. So you keep on adding your good salts like NPK. Then it will increase 600, 700, 800, up to 800 you can make. Then next day you come and check if plant absorbs most of the salt. Next day it will come back to 530. Again you add some more. So this we are going to show that. So the only thing you should not get confused that already your borewell water has got 1000 ppm. So you can straight use it. No. Your borewell water has got 1000 ppm. It is because of chlorides and carbonates which are not good. Kaveri water is around 150 to 200 ppm. It's good. 150 to 200 ppm. So your most of the ROs, whatever you drink water, will be around 50 to 100. Okay. So many people will ask me whether the water which is coming out of that RO water, whether it is useful. No, it is not good because it will have very high TDS. So because most of the carbonates, most of the chlorides, it will take out the good water it will give and the bad water will come out. That water may not be very suitable for the hydroponics. So that we are, in fact, we are working out through wick irrigation, whether any wick is holding those salts, that we are working out. But right now we cannot say that. So you should always play with a rainwater. Rainwater is the best. So normally 1000 square meter, if you have 1000 square meter polyhouse or 1 square meter, straight 1 square meter of rainfall, you can collect around 800 liters of water in Bangalore because 800 rainfall. So whatever the rain which falls, you just store it and that is enough for your entire hydroponics or vertical farm. So we don't really ask you to go for a big RO unit because that itself is very expensive and that is where the problem straight comes. But when you grow commercially, when you want to really grow commercially, you can have one RO unit mix with rainwater always, and then you can maintain this TDS, whatever the TDS is required. Anyway, these all we will be showing there practically. We'll keep putting it and how it increases, you can see it. So we play with rainwater only. We just use rainwater and you get some RO water also.
yeah,
RO water.
RO is there,
Where?
COE is
COE RO water is there. Here we have rainwater. Both will show how it will changes. Okay.
Okay. So clear, no? So that is how we have to maintain the EC. Then after maintaining the EC to the desired range, now our tank is full of nutrients and the plant is the container is rich with food for plants. Okay, but that doesn't mean that plant is going to absorb the nutrients whatever we have provided in the tank. So for that we have to check the pH of the solution. Okay, whatever we have maintained. So why pH is important is most of the nutrients, the major nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, calcium, magnesium, and most of the micronutrients, they will be available only at a slightly acidic pH. See in this chart itself, you can see only at a middle range around 5.5 to 6.5. Most of the nutrients are available at that slightly acidic range. So that is why we should maintain the pH of our solution in a slightly acidic range of 5.5 to 6.5. So after maintaining the EC to the desired range, we take a pH meter and check the pH of the solution. And if most of the times what we have observed is after adding the nutrient solution and all, most of the time pH will be more, like it will be around 8, 8.5 or sometimes 7.5. Most of the time that is a problem we are facing. Okay, pH will be more. So immediately we have to go for a correction. Otherwise, the plants will not be able to absorb the nutrients which are provided to the system. So we have to bring the pH to the slightly acidic range around 5.5 to 6.5. So then how we go about it? How we can go about the adjustment of pH? For that, then immediately people will think we have to add some acid. Then don't think of sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid and all, because they're all highly corrosive acids. Okay, that is not good for actually any of you. It's dangerous also. So go for some mild acids. Many people have tried with citric acid, vinegar and all. That also they're not so effective. We have tried with the citric acid, vinegar, acetic acid and all, that were not so effective. But we have come out with one mild acid like orthophosphoric acid, which contain even phosphorus also, and it's beneficial for plant growth. That is a very good mild acid which is better for adjustment of pH. So you can add drop by drop acid you can add, then stir the contain whatever water nutrient solution present in the container and bring the pH to the desired range of 5.5 to 6.5. So that is how you have to bring down the pH. So daily, and if not daily, at least every alternate days, you have to go for this exercise compulsorily in a hydroponic setup. Monitoring of your EC and pH. It will not take you more time, not less than 5 to 10 minutes, it won't take. So in a ready-made solution also, after adding the ready-made solution, I mean A and B solution you'll be getting from market. You'll be adding to the container. Okay. Then immediately you have to check the EC. For a small plant, it should be around 600 ppm. Okay. Then once the 600 ppm is reached, immediately you check the pH of the solution. But that time your pH may not be 5.5 to 6.5. Okay. It will be in a higher side, around 8, 7.5 will be. For that purpose, you have to bring down. And sometimes what happens after adding the nutrient solution, the EC will be around more than, for a small plant, more than EC of more than 1000 ppm is not advisable. EC will be more. Maybe by mistake you might have added more nutrients to the container. So that time also you have to bring down the EC. Otherwise plants will be, the toxicity effect and all will come. So how you can adjust the EC that time? Anyone of you can answer? Yeah, add more water. You have to dilute the solution. That time you can dilute and bring down the EC. So that is how this works. It will not take, the correction will not take much time. Okay. So then bring adjust the pH and then that solution is ready for the plants to obtain. Mm. Yeah, some sort of skilled labor.
No, yeah. I mean,
And it's not a labor, it's not. It is a digital reading.
madam, maybe in another 6 months, we are now working with triple IT. Maybe in another 6 months, we are coming out with a sensor, all just plug and play. Okay. You need not adjust pH, you need not adjust EC. It will take automatically from the solution. So just now we are collaborating with, and definitely it will come out. Now also it is available sensors, but they are expensive. So we are coming out with a sensor, cheaper sensors, where pH, EC, everything will by it's adjusted. It's on. But this labor, see what we found, that one labor is enough for almost 500 square meter of a polyhouse. So that is required. Yeah. Yeah, that is why. Yeah. On your vacation, see normally once if you adjust pH for 1 or 2 hydroponics, maybe a bit difficult. For wick irrigation, if you adjust once and if it observes, then maybe another 1 week it will sustain in wick irrigation.
Okay. So next then I'll show you some photographs for the vertical farming, what sir was telling in the morning.
Finish it. We will
Yeah.
take it and.
Okay, then I'll stop.
Yeah. I think
Then the practical session we'll see in the vertical.
Yeah, now there's Prasanna Kumar. He works, I mean, he is an entomologist, senior scientist here. So he will be telling about the integrated pest management, Prasanna, they want more of. Okay. So without telling much of pesticides. Okay.
Organic options.
Organic option. Vinay, ಇದೊಂದು ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು. ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ನಾವು print అది పెంకుడు పోదు. ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ತಪ್ಪಿಸಿದ್ದೆ. ಅದು ಒಂದೊಂದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ these are all urban only. Urban terrace garden. Of course, some people may go for commercial also. But preferably integrated pest management using without using much of pesticide. Okay. Oh, we want to show more of practical. So, ನಿಮ್ದೊಂದು ಬೇರೆ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತರ್ತೇವೆ. Detail ಇಲ್ಲ. Detail not. Yeah, in the capture. See what's ಅದೊಂದೇ ಸ್ಲಾಟ್ ಇರೋದು. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಹ್ಮ್. So what I suggest is keep asking the questions. Okay, you jot down and keep asking. We want more of interaction on it because we do not know what is your level of understanding, what is your level of. So whatever is required, you please ask. Yeah, diseases, you know. Madam, only thing, madam, what I want to tell is because I am growing all my vegetables and terrace garden only. So far, I have not purchased my vegetables from market. Okay. So whether it is a cucumber, whether it is a gourds, everything has got a solution. But we have to spray pesticide or insecticides or fungicides. So if you want to really go for fungicides, definitely we have a lot of fungicides to tell you. But if you don't want to go for fungicides, what I suggest is, like, see now there is one simple copper oxychloride, COC, 2 grams per liter. Still, I don't even use that also. See, if any cucumber leaves is there, first few days, one or two diseases will come. But with all diseases, you will get 50%. Wherever you want to get 10 cucumber, you will get 5 cucumber. So you should be satisfied with that. That is what I tell people. See, otherwise we have, see now tomato can yield 20 kgs. If you give all pesticides, everything, 20 kgs you can harvest our one variety of our correction. If you don't give anything, it will give 5 kgs. With all insect pest, with all diseases, it will give 5 kgs. So now you have a choice between 5 kgs and 20 kgs. 20 kgs with all insecticide, pesticides, everything. That is what I'm telling. So that is why I tell most of the terrace garden people that let it, like let disease come, you don't bother much. See, best thing is, say, suppose now you will get one mildew on leaf. Immediately take the leaf and just throw it or burn it, or then it will not spread. But if you people say that you what to spray means, yes, I have a lot of fungicides. So here also, that is why, of course, in at least in insecticides now, we have come out with mostly neem and some integrated pest management is there. But in diseases, it is very difficult, and diseases per se is not very harmful, except some root rot, like Phytophthora root rot, Rhizoctonia root rot, which one more pathologist will come and tell how to maintain it. So you have to know, we will not tell what fungicide to be sprayed because that is not our intention also. Okay. Yeah, please.
Very good morning. You can ask, yes, sir, mentioned we can ask questions then and there. Just don't go with the doubts. I don't know how much you know about insects, but to be frank, most of the urban population who uh, don't have knowledge on insects, so they don't know its life cycle and all, because knowing life cycle is very important. So then only which stage is feeding, what are pests, what are our friends. Okay, in insects also friendly insects are there. Okay, enemies are also there. Like if they feed more and they are damaging our well-beings, then we usually call it as a pest. Otherwise, we will consider it as a, you know, friends. Okay, here I will just talk about two life cycles. So one is this one. This is a complete life cycle. You can see this is a ladybird beetle. Okay, it usually lays eggs, then the larva will come out. So this we call it as a grub or the larva. So it eats most of the pests, particularly the aphids and other sucking pests. On
నాకు జూమ్ మీటింగ్ నడుస్తా ఉంది.
you might have it's good. Then it will undergo pupation.
తప్పదు.
Then again the
పర్మిషన్
adults
తీసుకొని
will
వచ్చిన
come out. This is its life cycle.
మధ్యాహ్నం 3 గంటలకల్లా
So
మళ్ళీ
this is we call it as a complete
రాత్రి 8
metamorphosis.
గంటల దాకా ఉంది
Four
మీటింగ్.
stages are involved. Okay.
జస్ట్
But in no case it will eat on your plant. It will always eat only the insects, other insects like aphids. The small green color aphids will be there. So it will attack the aphids and it will devour it and it will throw the skin. So the other case like grasshoppers or your cockroaches or in some bugs. So they have only three. So one is the egg stage will be there. Then immediately after hatching, it almost looks like an adult, but lack of wings and some hardening won't be there. So then the adult will be there. The adults only three stage. These will also feed on your plants. Okay, so why identification is very important because um, any plant or animal or organism that cause harm to us or our belonging. So we should, if it is causing more than 10% loss, then we can usually go for managing them. Otherwise, they will also part and parcel of our farm. So that is very important. So how much damage it is causing or whether it is going to spread further or not, that we have to decide. So both pest and nature of damage that appears in the plants that we should see how the symptoms appear. For example, here you can see here some the leaves are very crinkling and curled. So why it is happening? Because of scraping of the green matter or a sucking by the sucking fish like aphids or other. Here this the chili leaf. This is happened because of the thrips. It scrapes usually. It will not suck the sap. It scrapes. So due to scraping, the tissue get damaged and it starts curling. So in the second case, this is a borer. You can see a lot of its fecal matter is also there, and because of its pouring, some water also enters and lot of distortion in the disintegration you can see. And in plants also you can find some fecal pellets, small black color uh,
దానికి ఈక్వల్ గానే
pellets. So if these are there, then definitely there will be some incidents in your crop.
సతాయిస్తారు. నాకు చాలా సతాయించిండ్రు.
So in here, this is one we call diamond back mask. You can find it in cabbage, cauliflower, and all other efficacy plants like mustard, broccoli, and all forth. Is slender shape, and at the top of this you can zigzag lines will be there, means diamond shape. That's why we call it as a diamond back mark, and it lays individual egg, creamy shaped egg, and upon hatching the larva, you can see green color. They will just usually the topmost portion of the leaves it eats, big topmost, not the bottom leaves. So if it eats the top portion, so the entire head, whatever the economical part will be, yeah, it will get distorted. So in the later stages, they will go to the other parts of the leaf. It's more in summer season only. In rainy one or two we'll get. Yeah, yeah. The season also matters here. Usually in Rabi, in case of Kharif, we get usually fruit flies more. But in summer season, insects activity will be more because of the temperature and coupled with the relative load. In Kharif we get, but the economical threshold level will be very less. You can one or two sprays we can manage. Otherwise also not much problem. But in fruit flies will be more in Kharif, particularly in Bangalore condition, August and November. 2 weeks we get. Even brinjal shoot and fruit borer also we get in these 2 months. In summer, other insects like thrips, aphids like cool weather, December, January, February. So, but this insect, particularly this diamond back moth and some other like thrips, whiteflies, they like little bit summer. So season also matters here. So if rains are there, heavy rains are there, or if you are putting some sprinkler, most of the sucking pest will wash away because they cannot stay on the plant surface. So that also matters. So on here you can so yeah, on brinjal you can see if you find any of the branch, not the whole plant, even branch, if it is dying, that is because of this particular insect is laying the egg and upon boring the larva, upon hatching the larva, it will bore. So it will, disconnect the tissues. So there is no supply of the food. So automatically this particular portion will die. Drooping will be there, then it will dry. Then subsequently, when we see some flowers and fruiting, then it will shift its feeding behavior and it starts laying eggs on the fruits. So marble sized fruits also get affected. Then even over-ripened fruits also get affected. So it will just bore inside and it will close its hole with its fecal matter. So these are all some of the symptoms. The moment when you see something is happening, that is because of insects or the disease made by it. And this is on tomato control over on monkey mark. Here the water study now for overall control budget is there, but it is very difficult to control. It's very not difficult to control. Very very difficult. Normally stay around for 20 to 30 days a year. Otherwise it is very difficult. So here what I can do because I follow it because of I see many I just yeah, that is the best. And even if one or two rows are there, you will get 70% to 50% yield. So instead of saying taking 20% effect wherever that hole is there, 20% you will get. So even in the local market, if you see the one which is low, you buy that. Because the one which is low as a reduction, 30% when the one which is low also. Baking soda, yeah, baking soda is not die. So people, like baking soda, it is die. What I suggest is in gathered custom as well, or not only initially, where the bank is very small income, just use your hand and check. And some portion of the bank is just dollar. So, 100% of expenses. Some portion of it definitely there is. You cannot control. But overall control of things you have. No. But what gives is this lack of substancy is what is. Only when it is strong, when it is attached to younger day, then it will not cause the soil. Okay. Otherwise, even if it takes 1 quarter to use, plant will survive. Insects also likes the fresh leaves. So usually because the old is you have to just yeah. Being qualification yeah, that we will cover it. Yeah, because of repellency and so in tomato, yeah, actually this was the most problem previous years. Now it is almost a subside in Bangalore condition. I can say even in Karnataka. This particular insect, the way it feeds is half body will be inside, half body will be outside. So whatever the fecal matter it comes out from the larva, it will throw away from its feeding area. So this is called Helicoverpa parmigera. So it attacks more than 100 plants, including your cotton, corn. So many hosts are there. So it keeps multiplying here and then. If it is not tomato, then it will go to some other host. It will multiply there. Then go to red gram. Then it will multiply there. Again come back. So whatever hosts are available, it will keep shifting. So now problems farmers are not reporting much problem over this. But the another one is this is recently in 2014 IHR reported. This is called tuta. You can see this larva. This is the adult. Okay, it lays eggs individually. Once eggs hatches the small, what we call the chalky type of the larva shell, they just go in between the surfaces. So it will be inside the. You can see the papery. So inside it will start eating the all the green chlorophyll tissue. Both the surface, so up top and the under surface looks same. Like if it is here papery and below surface also it will be papery. So the larva will be somewhere in the corner and it will be eating. Then it will undergo pupae. Pupae you can see here pupa. So then the adults will come. The life cycle keeps uh, continuing. So it attacks even nursery seedlings also. So once initially, if you find, you can just click the particular leaf and destroy. That is the best way. Or else it will keep multiplying and even the top post portion of the entire even it nowadays it even makes some pin sized holes on the fruits. In Kolar, when we went to near Narsapura, almost 18 out of 20 grades, 18 grades were totally damaged. So almost 80% loss. All fruits were just marked, small pin shaped mark will be there. And this is the another one. It is also called as leaf miner, but you can see serpentine type. But here, if you look at the bottom, I mean under surface of the leaves, so it looks green. So there won't be any marks. But there, both the surface mark will be there, but that will be a little bit bigger. But here it is like almost like a serpent snake. That's why it's called serpentine leaf. For this usually the initial leaves, the cotyledon leaves we call. Once the plant comes out, the first leaves come emerges, first one or two leaves. So first attack will be on that leaf. If we remove that leaf, then almost 50-60% you can manage it. If we fail, then the subsequent leaf will be get finished. These are mites. You can see small yellow color specks. So if you rotate the leaf and look at its under surface, you can see small webbings like red color spider type, very minute. If you closely observe, you can uh, see the mites. So this is a white mite or yellow mite on chili. You can see elongation of the leaves and downward curling. These are difficult to see through our naked eye. This mite, particular this mite, but its damage you can see on the fruits as well as on the leaves. And these are red spider mites. Yeah. Petiole gets elongated because of its feeding and downward curling. Yeah, capsicum, chili, and your thrips. If thrips attack is there, upward curling. Therefore, this is downward curling. Might. And even on the fruits also, you can see the markings will be there, small lines like rough surface. And grapes also we can find because of the thrips. Because damage will become to have some transgender insecticides, not systemic here. If systemic insecticide is there, it will go through phloem. And only those insects which are attacking the phloem will get killed. But this fellow just superficially it will just damage and it eats. So there will be the movement of insecticide should be translaminar. So the plant has to observe through its tomato and it has to get circulated entire system. So that's why thrips particularly is difficult to manage because of lack of translaminar insecticide. And this is the red spider mites. You can see webbings with an onion from small webbings. And through webbings, they move from one place to another place. And these are fruit flies. So fruit flies also so many hosts are there. This is it attacks the cucumber, bitter gourd, ridge gourd, pumpkin, almost all cucurbits. And on mango, that is different fruit fly. That is dorsalis, and this is cucurbitaceae. Uh, yeah, mango species are different. So when we use the traps, we should use a species specific lures. If you put the mango one in vegetables, we get some adults, but the adults will not, feed on the vegetables. It will go only for food. So it is again vice versa. Most of the farmers they confuse because whatever the vendors gives, he will just put and he will get few adults because they are airborne. Adults will come nearby, but they will not lay egg on the vegetables. So they will lay egg only on food. The guava and uh, this is yeah disease. This one pathology. Yeah. You can just show them. But
All confused with disease, insect, and deficiency. Yeah.
yeah, that's why I put simple slides so that identification is very important. If you just say in-depth science, many people
Mm.
will not understand.
Maybe
Most
no,
of
no,
the
madam. Say one thing you should. There is a software to identify. Even if you identify, we will ask you to spray insecticide, which is not advisable. That is why I am telling you in the beginning only. Don't too much of this thing. You don't give. So if at all you see a insect, you destroy by using, and you will tell one or two things with name and all. Otherwise, don't bother much. Otherwise, we have more than 100 insecticides which are dangerous, which you cannot use it. So what you will do with the identify buying software? So you will learn,
no,
but you have to
when
only again spray pesticide, which we don't recommend.
actually it will identify almost 70-80%, but remaining 20%, most of the time we ourselves get confused with the image-based identification
Hmm?
because from soil till sun, lot of variations will be there. So unless we see practically, sometimes it is difficult. But here we should use some common sense, at least whether it's insect or it's a disease. So then whether we have to go for a disease, I mean fungicides or bactericides or insecticides. So this is a fruit fly. It adults lays eggs. It punctures the fruit, and inside it will deposit eggs, individual eggs, around 14 or even 14 also. It depends upon the fruit size. Around 14 eggs per fruit it lays. And another fellow will not come and lay there because it will leave some mark, no, small marking pheromones type it will make. So other fellow will come and it will not because competition. So they avoid competition. So these are all some damages caused by thrips and chili. And these are the mealy bugs you can see on papaya. So covered with completely mealy matter, and these are aphids. And white flies, and this white fly, this yellow mosaic virus, Almofra, the mosaic, you can see all the ways that transmitted by this virus, white flies. And floriculture also we get plenty of insects, mealybugs, aphids, thrips, and jasmine butcher. And here, so when we think about vertical or urban horticulture, we should always think not to use insecticides. We should always give prefer of some repellent crops or some medicinal crops like Amrutaballi or aloe vera, tulsi, dodpatra. They all one way or other way they repel some of the insects. One or two plants if we keep it nearby or in between, so they almost avoid because it is you are not taking in acres together. So at least one or two plants of this will repel the insects. And as we say, the IPM has certified cultural practice in terrace gardening or vertical farming is not practiced. Initial identification, diagnosis, and viewing is the best method. Subsequently, you can use some light traps or some pheromone traps or like sticky traps to attract and kill them. Then biologically, if possible, you can encourage some coccinelles, which I have shown earlier in the yeah. such type. Then chemical, here chemical, you should always prefer to go for botanicals or biopesticides. Chemicals will be at the last level. So this same thing which I have already, this is mechanical means some insects will lay in group. If you just open this one, around hundreds of eggs will be there. So if we just click a particular leaf and destroy, so at a time we can control more than 200 insects larvae. Otherwise, 200 plants will get affected. Then these are some of the, this is for brinja shoot of food for a water trap. So here lure will be there with black color. It will attract all the males. So males will come and they get trapped here. So females will not get males. So there won't be any mating and multiplication of it. This is the concept, but we cannot entirely depend on one aspect. It's all we have to integrate it. These are sticky traps, yellow sticky trap, and blue. Blue we recommend for pricks. And these are ladybird. You can see this is a ladybug, and it is also eating, and this is also its the larva of this adult, and this is also eating. And this is NPV infected larva. Usually they go on top of the plant, they hang down. So if you find this type, that is infected with NPV virus, nuclear and some of the wasps, you can see this wasp, small water wasp will be there. Yeah, they make nest near the wall. What they do is they will come and they anesthetize this larva, and they will take and load there. So then they lay eggs there. So larva will not die, but it will be like anesthetized. So yeah, if you open one a small water wasp nest, you can find at least 10-15 larvae. It will collect from the field and it will just store there and lay egg on that. So its next generation will eat by feeding the tissues of this larva. Then they come out, they go there, another place, they make again nest, they start hunting all the larvae. This coccinelle, yeah, coccinelles, you can get CBI, opposite to CBI. So there you will get all these biological effects. Yeah, you can purchase it and you can, they will say how to get it. Open the queue in your terrace garden, all these biological insects will be there. Wasp is natural. And you can take for guinea pig also they have a. So we want, don't say anything. They will take care of. Take care of. And you can see this is one their populated. And if you see this completely yellow one, some usually powder-built diseases there, this will be more. They eat more on the fungal spores. This one, the last one, yeah, yellow color. Yeah. So these are the predators. And these are some of the technologies developed here. We usually recommend for neem soap, Pangemia soap, and pellets, and other neem cakes to repel the insects away. We have successfully demonstrated use of pellets nearby Tamil Nadu, and particularly in cabbage and cauliflower. So we could able to manage without a single
अरे अच्छा है भाई
but
ऑफिस
here
से नहीं बोलो आप
before insects appearance we need
ये मैं हार्टिकल्चर
like
अफसर हूँ
20 days. So every 10 days we provide. So 6-7 sprays is enough because by the time the curd will become very bigger and insects will not like.
कुछ नहीं क्या डिटेल्स
So
कुछ
you
नहीं
can
क्या
easily bring down the insecticide. Yeah, it is available.
There only it is available. Neem soap and Pangemia soap are available. You can buy and you can use it.
So we developed some other formats which is not available for commercialization. You can see the
घर
complete
वाले सब खिड़की मास्टर हैं पूरे हमारे
thousands of insects are
आपके
there
घर पे लेंगे होना
that we could able to bring down even up to zero.
ऑफिस पे
But it is again we are working on this to commercialize it. So you can see all these are all organic fields. Okay. And if nothing is available, if you have a seeds of neem, you properly dry them, then powder them. Powder you take 40 grams and soak it overnight in water. So what is the
काराबाग
procedure.
में प्रवीण
So
बेचे तो
tomorrow
10 लाख
morning
रुपए
you can
बचे थे
filter like this
वो 10 लाख रुपए
and
आज तक
spray
पड़
them.
गए हैं मिसेस के अकाउंट में
So
Yeah,
do it
एक पैसा छीने
continuously,
देती
so
नहीं
it will
रोज निकाल के
insects and
2
also
एकड़
it's
जमीन लेते थे
boost the
अब
crop also.
10 के 40 होते थे, 50 होते
है करोड़ रुपए होते थे
नहीं दे रहे।
नहीं जी नहीं रखी
रख के
अरे
क्या
जी मैं
रख के कर रहे क्या?
बच्ची की शादी कैसे रखूं
But commercial available neem oil
बच्ची की
may
पूरी
not,
शादी
because
धन
if
बच्चा
you
की
go
ज्यादा
to
होते थे
Monday and bring crude
नहीं
oil, it will work.
वही 10 एकड़ 2 एकड़ इजी आती थी।
आराम से जब क्या
But
6 लाख रुपए वो तो बहुत ज्यादा हुआ जब 3 एकड़ जमीन आती थी ऐसे
spray,
करने नहीं रहते
खाली खाइश हो रखने नहीं।
अभी भी हाथ में दिया समझो खत्म
all insects are there, you expect
देख समझ के देना उसके ऐसे
beginning only you have to spray. Actually,
बहुत कमी मिली
neem
तेरे
oil
को
and neem, in the neem seed we get lot of, lemonites
भाई को दी बीच
or
में
other
10 लाख
things.
रुपए
But in neem oil
वो
we not
वो
get
एक
all.
साल के बाद वापस कराओ
So when you put it in water,
कम से कम
everything will
जाके
be
क्लास भी
released.
तो हो जाता था ना हम
When you put
नहीं
the
प्रोडक्ट
neem
होता
इंटरनेट
है
भी
oil
नहीं
in
है।
powder,
देखो
all
तो
the insecticidal
डेवलपमेंट चलती
components, whatever bioconstituents are there, it will come out.
हमेशा डिप्रेशन के पास बुला रहे चलो
You can
आई एम रेडी लाग डाले बस
so like how madam was mentioning, we will use clove, garlic, that bulbs. So like that immediately, if you want, if it is available, you can use it. Otherwise, you can depend on other products. So if tulsi is there, you can use it. Yeah, yeah. That spinoside is, though it is insecticide, spinoside.
Okay. It is expensive, of course. It is, I think, 100 ml costs 700 rupees.
No more 1,200.
1,200 rupees, but it is a safe insecticide. So unlike other insecticide, it is safe greener, spinoside. So that can be used. It will kill most of the sucking pests.
Yeah.
Most of the sucking pests, it takes care.
Even caterpillars also.
Caterpillars also, it takes care. Spinoside, but don't use too much. Of course, it's expensive also.
Expensive and usually that will be a last resort.
Last resort. So you can keep one bottle, 1 ml, 2 ml. When plants are young, you can spray so that a small insect, whatever is there, that get. Then otherwise, use always neem soap once in a week. No, neem you can spray. You can eat neem also, no problem. Neem,
But
neem
not
is no problem.
directly consuming.
You are spraying it on the leaf. After anyway, you will wash it. So if at all, yeah, Nimazole you will get. Yeah. Bacteria, of course, for bacteria, there is one streptocycline. Again, we don't recommend you to spray bacteria, antibacterial and all. That is for commercial. We have a lot of streptocycline, agromycin, all that is for there for bacteria. But for a terrace garden, for your consumption, neem soap is the best. Okay. So as last resort, one spinoside you can keep. If it is too much, you can spray. And there is one copper oxychloride for diseases. That's all. Don't go any for any because in market plenty are available. So that we don't recommend actually. COC, if you ask, it will be there. Blytox is there. But soft, of course, again, don't go for. They're all professional fungicides. Okay.
While spraying, you should ensure that your pets should not move outside. And windows are also very important because the neighbor should not get affected. And while spraying, most of the people we have habit of washing clothes on the terrace. So nearby the taps and all, we should not spray. Yeah, you can get it from medic. So this is the procedure of using neem seed powder. So, and yeah, this is one small information. When you look at the bottles of any insecticide, so you can see different colors. With these type of colors will be there: red, yellow, and this blue and green. So one more introduced. that is orange, I think. So that is not there here. The red means extremely toxic. So we should be very, very careful and while handling. So yellow is highly toxic, blue is also moderately toxic. Greens are green labeled like this parasite falls on this category. They are slightly toxic, not with respect to insecticides here, with respect to the mammals. But it doesn't mean that the green labeled insecticides are safe. They are also very dangerous. But handling, with respect to the handling, is important. So they are slightly toxic compared to the red one. Red ones are extremely dangerous. So while purchasing, you can.
फोन करा था मल्लिकार्जुन करा था
So that is one newly introduced category.
तो
So
खाली
it
भी
will
होता
come in
खाने
between.
वाला ना करे तो नहीं उठा
Yeah.
उसकी कागज थे
So whenever see on bottles, we'll find this type of marks. You can see here. For example, here this falls on under blue. This is very dangerous. So you can see a skull with the crossbones also. So whatever it may be, but
अमावस्या होती
whenever you spray
ये कभी
with
नहीं
any of the insecticide,
जल्दी हो
you
गया
should follow all the
हाँ
plant
ये नहीं
protection
इसी के अंदर
measures, personal protection measures like using gloves,
अरे
name
और
plate,
उल्टा
goggles, cap, and shoe. The one exclusively should be there for
उसकी वजह से एक्सीडेंट हुआ बोले
while spraying.
भाग जाओ भाई ये बोलते
So these are some of the
अमावस्या के दिन बोला
insecticides
वाला वाला लगा
or animal originated insecticides
अच्छे
like
दिन देखते तो
bacillus.
ये बोलना
It is
था
from a
वो बोला
bacteria. Spinosad is from actinomyces, microorganism. So like the spinotarum is also similar to spinosad. Then carta hydrochloride.
अब्दुल कलाम का वो था वो चेकिंग सेरेमनी था
Tyson,
तो वो कौन सा अच्छा टाइम है सब वो चेकिंग क्या सब भी जाके पूछेगा
like
वो
we
चेकिंग टाइम
might
क्या
have
है
heard about beating
उसके
carter.
तरफ जमीन फिर रही
So
है
like
जमीन जैसा फिर रही है वैसा रात दिन आ रहा है उसमें टाइम का क्या
stomach
इम्पोर्टेंस
question. This one is
जो
the
टाइम है वो
stomach
टाइम
question.
जाकर ये बोला
After taking inside stomach, it will uh, kill the insect.
बंदा मस्त एंजॉय कर रहा है
No, mosquitoes we usually don't.
जिन्हें कह
Nobody
दिया
recommends. So
क्या
that
बोलते
is
प्रेसिडेंट बना लो वो पर्सनल जिंदगी कैसी रहती
stomach
है
question
उसके बाद शादी नहीं करा
because
शादी नहीं
it
करना पड़ता
it needs some gut
बराबर
pH, alkaline gut
हाँ
pH.
निकाह पे भी करके छोड़
In
देना
that way, they're very very specific to certain things. Diethal, DITEL, diethal. There are so many other Padan is there, Patam is there. So we need to see which companies. Yeah,
हाँ
they
बोलो
will.
बोलो चलो हाँ
This with
करके
respect
पड़ते
to the further post harvest is concerned. Residue will be there, but after 1 or 2 weeks, you can just wash it and
हिंदी
Our,
वाले
when you go there, you see we have an herb wash where we have made with only an herbals. If you wash your vegetables, 70% of insecticides will go out. So we have made that
just 2 grams
2 grams in
1
liter.
liter water. Just within 5-10 seconds, you will discard all.
It is
So
available
it
in
is available from the getting. If anything is there,
कितने दिन डालते
you can have.
हाथ करे
See, my interaction with earlier groups is okay.
इधर
So
आते
I'm telling you people also, we made a group. Every day, one insect is one insect. If they see some 20 photos, they'll send. Sir, my that leaf is eating.
आपका जब आया
Exactly. That is why I mean we have that group. Only thing what I suggest is in the beginning only because I am growing as a scientist. I am not spraying anything. Not even neem. Not even I don't have neem also. I don't have a spinoside also. I don't have any insecticide.
अब तक रखे
So
हैं
I just go up as I says most of the time if it's all they will all be in groups. You
गाली
just
नहीं आता
put a gloves and destroy them. That's all.
गाली
And
भी
water
आता
also water spray also it will go. Okay. Only millibugs you have to destroy. Okay. And when cucumber and goats are there, powdery mildew is a big problem. Okay, so only when I see powdery mildew, immediately that leaf we just crush it and so that is how you can really sustain. That is called sustainable agriculture. Whatever we have scientists we are doing is just for commercial. That is for farmers because he also has to live. So we have lot of fungicides, we have lot of insecticides and lot of methods to control it, which we don't really recommend for the terrace garden. Terrace garden don't bother much, too much that eat only 50%, allow 50% to eat by your insect. There is no problem. Yeah.
Farmers, what they do in brinjal, they spray more than 25 kg.
25, 30 times they
35.
spray. So,
Every week, two
mm,
times, three times. Gobi, particularly, our teacher is to say, Vaskote market, all gobi, cauliflower. They used to dip in 1 bucket and morning they are selling because the aphid they go deep inside. They will not come out. Once they dip it, so everything will be
I don't
disappear.
put blame on farmer because you tell me when you go to market, will you like a brinjal with a glittering brinjal? You like to buy. If four or five holes are there, nobody will buy. So if you start buying the one which is with holes, definitely he will not spray. Why he will spray? That is what I tell. Always wherever
But
I go, I
it
tell
is
them.
the reverse case in Himachal Pradesh. They always prefer the insect
Exactly.
eaten fruits and vegetables.
Mm.
They say if insect is survived means we will survive. So if insect is not there means we will die.
Mm. Mm. Cauliflower with worms is better. Okay, I think we thank
Yeah, if
Dr.
anything
Prasanna.
is there, you
Yeah,
can
we'll
discuss.
make a group afterwards. If any insect problem is there, we will send to him and we'll get his. Okay, but only thing, too much of insecticides. Don't think about it. Spinoside also. I thought whether I should tell or not, but I told you. Don't spray the spinoside also. Of course, it is made out of some bacteria only. That bacteria is safe for us, like Bacillus thuringiensis (BT). It has been extracted out of Bacillus thuringiensis. So that is also safe insecticide. But it is not required when it is for a terrace. And for hydroponics, so far we have not seen any problem in the hydroponics. Okay. Vertical farming, when we go there, we will show you what is the problem.
Too much watering also invent diseases.
Yeah, diseases. That is
If
the
you say only sprinkling, sprinkler irrigation or water spraying, prevents insects. But because of wetness, so
will
the
buy here.
fungals will start
Will
multiplying,
buy here.
fungal or
Okay.
bacterial diseases. So
Okay.
that has to be the moisture has to be immediately it has to be dried.
No,
Uh,
Anar,
sir,
you
let
need
us
not
see.
contact anything, madam. See, that is what again. Yeah. That is. See, next thing
No,
is
at this
whenever
time we
honor
can't do
comes,
anything.
you can't do anything. Next time when it comes, honor, you put a wrap. Okay, paper wrap. Somewhat it controls. Otherwise, it is a bacterial canker. It is. Okay. So they will ask you to spray streptocycline again. All problems will be. No, nothing.
Nothing,
Nothing.
nothing.
Nothing. See, when high humidity is there, it will spread a fast.
But
That's
if
why.
rains are there, because one rain splashes it, just falls on the
Immediately
one
it
of
spread.
the pot, so plenty of the spores will just
It'll
go on
automatically
another.
go. It'll automatically go. So only when you see in the younger fruit,
More rains continuously, more diseases. That is thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Uh,
Dr. Aswad, can we ask a question?
yeah.
I have a question. I'm Dr. Rao, sir.
Okay, sir.
The terrace garden, what I saw was that it was made in a polythene hut kind of thing. So I presume it is protected from the environment. So do we fear the same amount of infestation as we